Good morning, everyone. Thomas Fleming here. Well, I've got good news and bad news. See, we have no leadership in this country at all. So the good news is that puts you in charge of your life. And the bad news is that puts you in charge of your life. You have to be able to take the bull by the horns, as they say. Now, I've never wrestled a bull with horns, but I have tried riding on one that was not very happy with me being there. That was a long time ago when I was a lot younger. I don't do foolish things like that anymore. Okay. The world is going down the path that we are all aware of. Our country sits by and doesn't do anything when we're provoked. We provoke countries and they don't do anything. This is the strangest time, but it's a time that the world is setting up for themselves. Satan is setting up the one big round thing, order, government, whatever you want to call it. People like Charles Schwab, fake name, are doing everything they can to get this all set up. They're doing it to get it done in, well, this is 2023, so they want it done in 7 years. And they've said they're ahead of schedule, and it appears that they're right. That's why I've been telling you to prep. Make sure that you can handle things when everything shuts down. You need food, water, medicines if you're on medicines, just normal things that you would need, that you might need for a month or two. I don't tell people to build a bomb shelter. You're not going to ride this thing out. But we don't know the last day, and we're not. Okay, so looking at my list here, there's not a whole lot you can do in the short time that we have left. What do we do with our collapsing dollar? Leave it in the bank? I don't know what to tell you to do with it, frankly, because I wouldn't gamble the money, especially if it's your retirement money. I wouldn't gamble it away. Stock market's a gamble unless you got a sure thing, and that's illegal. The rich people do it and get away with it, but if we tried pulling that kind of stuff, they'd catch us right off the bat. Countries and rich people buy gold. It's what our country used to be based on. Our dollar used to be on gold until somebody decided to steal money from the government. It was a politician, of course, the one who took us off the gold standard. They took us off the gold standard, bought up a bunch of gold, let the price go up, and then sold it and made millions of dollars. That's what rich people do. They manipulate the system, and we're seeing it manipulated right now. I would not invest in Bitcoin right now because it's not in the long-term plans of those that are in charge. They want their own digital dollar, which is coming. Now, if they do it right, I can't guarantee that, because that would mean somebody would have to actually think about us and not push us away. But if they did it right, they would basically come to us and say, look, the dollar's collapsing or has collapsed. We have a solution. It's called the digital dollar. It's already in place. We will buy your worthless dollar at value and sweeten the pot with, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 per person in the country. They could do that with the trillions of dollars that they've been giving away. All that debt will be gone. They could owe 40 billion trillion dollars. It doesn't matter. If the dollar was worth zero, they owe nothing. Do you see what they're doing? They're spinning to the point where it collapses, and they have a backup plan, the digital dollar. So, As much as I don't like saying this, let them have their unlimited budget. Let them ask for more money in their budget and give it to them. I don't really like saying that, but I know what their plan is. As long as they're going to do the right thing and make sure that we're complimented with equal value or close to it, and they need to sweeten the pot a little bit. If they do that, that will get us by. Now, if their plan is to crash the dollar and just watch us all starve to death, no. If they kill everybody off on this planet, which Satan wants to do, there'd be nobody left to be their servants. Nobody to wait on them in a restaurant. Nobody to carry their baggage. Nobody to wash their dishes. Nobody to do anything and serve them. So they don't really want everybody gone, the elites. Satan wants everybody gone, but he can't do it without the help of people down here, so he's going to go the first step. We're told in Revelation there's going to be a quarter of the people on the earth die in the seals, and a third in the trumpets. So there's going to be some very major losses. And then whatever else is coming, the wrath of God in the second half, there's going to be people dying from that too. And the harlot, before we knock her out, is going to take out a few Christians as well, because she's going to have the blood of Christians. So there is going to be a lot of death. But don't worry. God already has seen this. He's already planned for it. And we're protected. So I'm going to turn to 2 Corinthians 5:1. For we know that it is our earthly house. If this earthly house, our tent, is destroyed, well, coincidentally, I live in a tent, so if it's destroyed, we have a building from God, a house not made with hands, eternal in heaven. For in this we groan earnestly, desiring to be clothed with our habitation, from which is from heaven. We indeed, the wind is blowing a little bit this morning. We indeed, having been clothed, we shall not be found naked, for we who are in this tent groan, being burdened, not because we want to be unclothed, but further clothed, that mortality may be swallowed up by life. We want to be with God in heaven. I mean, it's plain and simple. So what we have on earth, it can all go away. It's going to burn up anyway. So don't worry about it. And in verse 6, so we are always confident, knowing that while we are at home in the body, we are absent from the Lord, for we walk by faith, not by sight. We are confident, yes, well pleased rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. So when we die, that's what we really want. We want to be with the Lord, or if we're raptured, the same thing. The results are the same. Jesus conquered death, so either way that we get there is okay. Okay, I want to look at John 14:2. Let's see, where is that? That's Matthew. Come on, wind, stop it. And he starts off, this is Jesus talking, he starts off so many of his comments the same way. He's concerned about us. I'm going to start actually in 14:1. John 14:1. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many, calls them mansions, but how can there be in a house mansions? In my Father's house there are many rooms. Now, large rooms, mansion dictates it be a large room. So we're not going to get a one-bedroom apartment. We're going to have the equivalent, I would assume, of a penthouse suite in God's house. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself. So we're going to be with Jesus in this large house of God's. And where I go, you know, and the way you know. So Jesus has already told us he's gone to prepare, and he's had a lot of time. He's had a couple thousand years. This is the part of God that we can see. So it's basically God. What can God do in 2,000 years? We know what he did in 6 days. What can he do in 2,000 years? A lot. Okay. Now I want to turn over to Matthew 6:34. 6. Okay, going to go start with 31. Again, Jesus starting off his paragraph here, him talking. Therefore, do not worry. Do not worry. Saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or what shall we wear? For all these things the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knows that you need all these things. These are needs. Food, water, clothing. These are not wants. Now, if you want to buy a $5,000 pair of tennis shoes, that might be a need. But if you just need shoes, God will provide. And they will be good enough. If you need a good pair of shoes and a suit to go to a job interview, you're going to have that. Okay. Knows that you need all these things, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Seek God first. That's the first thing. You've got to be adopted. If you're adopted, then your Father will give you what you need. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about its own things. Sufficient to say that the troubles of today are enough. So that's how we're supposed to go about all this. We got people driving in. I'm in a different campsite than I normally am. I am literally right next to the road. That's okay. When I want to go someplace, I just walk over to the road and I can go. At my other campsite, I'd have to walk out the back and get on a trail. But I don't like, and I've talked about this before, I don't like the looks of the pine trees in that area. And we just had a storm, and they're telling us that there's more storms coming. We're in February. February is usually the worst month. January and March are kind of the same, and then by April we're starting to come out of it. So we're well into this and almost halfway through this, so there's not a whole lot more to put up with. I'm in good shape. I sleep warm. I've got a heater in there. I got a lot of people that are worried about me, but I'm perfectly fine and safe. And I do have a brain in my head that God has taught me to use. And the brain in my head says, stay close to God and don't worry about everything else. If we all do that, we're okay. Now, from an earthly point of view, I tell you to prep, but I don't tell you to go out and build a bomb shelter. Do the things that are necessary. We do have to eat, so you have to go to the supermarket. Those are things that we have to do. We're not being fed by manna or by quail. Quail is really good if you cook it right. You get a couple of quail per person, you put them in a big skillet, you get them browned a little bit, and then you pour either cream of chicken or cream of mushroom soup over them and get them all stirred up. Put that with some vegetables, and you've got a meal. They're very good. There's not a lot of meat on their bones, so you have to have a few extra, 2 or 3 per person. And then you get that's maybe a half a pound. But they taste very good. Yes, I grew up in a hunting family. I think one of the last things my dad did when he was hunting was to go off for a quail shoot. But he's also hunted ducks and geese and all the other stuff. So we always had game in the freezer. Everything's good if you know how to cook it. Deer can be gamey. That's the name. It can have a wild taste. But you can tone that down with the right seasoning. Okay. The bottom line is, whatever you're going to do every day, just continue doing it. Be close to God and talk to God every day and say, what can I do today to help you? That's what he really wants from us. Submission. What can I do to help you? Not, I'm going to go do this. I'm just letting you know so you can be there to help me. That's not the way God works. It's the other way around. Let the greatest among you be a servant. Jesus washed the feet of his disciples to prove that. God washed the feet of his disciples. Understand that. So there's nothing that you can't do. You can't say, well, that's below me. I can't do that. Can you wash the feet of your disciples? Again, I like to bring up, I see all these people that are on YouTube and their TV shows, but Mike Rowe shows you that there's no job that you can't do. And he's done everything. And he's still doing it. I guess he's got another round of shows coming out. There's nothing below us that you can't do. Well, I won't clean toilets, or I won't slop the pigs, or I won't whatever the job is that you think you're too good for. Your future is in jeopardy, because if you won't do the simplest tasks, he's not going to give you something more complicated. You have to be prepared to do whatever God gives you to do. And he may give you something that's on your list of I won't do, just to check to make sure you really are faithful. We just talked about Joseph. Yeah, he got to be at the top, and then he got knocked to the bottom. Then he got to be at the top again. His character that God recognized, his character allowed him to keep getting to the top because he was a faithful servant. Faithful servants are important. Whatever the future is, right now we have to be out there and be servants to God, because there are people down here that need us. That's why we're still here. I tell you about my life and it seems to be glamorous. That's the illusion. I worked in aerospace. It seemed glamorous. That's why I took that job. It's just like any other job. Anything you do on a day in, day out basis, it becomes work. I grew up in Hollywood. I knew what Hollywood was like. I didn't want to be a part of it. But God knew that that was the only way to get me to do these videos, is to get me so that I was not afraid to be in front of a camera. He went to the trouble of moving Hollywood to Georgia, where I lived. And he threw me out on the street, so to speak, so that I'd be able to do that. I'm not doing it anymore, one, because I don't need to. I'm doing this full time, and I enjoy doing this now. I would not have enjoyed this before, and I could not have come up with something to say every day. Now, God provides that, because I come to him every day and say, God, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? And he's faithful, always faithful. Now, I don't want my pictures and stuff to appear that I'm bragging. I'm not. I'm showing you those to show you that God can make your life interesting if you let him. And everything is not glamorous as it appears. I showed you my dynasty pic where I got video where I got chewed out for making bad coffee. Well, I didn't really make bad coffee. It's a scene I'm in. I know how to make good coffee. I was in the Navy. And the very first take, knowing that I make good coffee, I rolled my eyes, and it made the director laugh, and that's the one they kept. I would have continued working on the show, but I had problems with one of the PAs, the personal assistants who look after the background people. I was not going to be able to challenge him. He was getting hard to get along with. And he was both black and gay, and you can't challenge somebody like that. So I just walked away at the end. I'd been there for most of the season, probably 90% of it. I only walked away at the end, and they'd put me on camera so much I wasn't going to see much of it anymore. Sometimes you have to make choices, and I did. I've always been free to make choices. And Satan has always tried to knock me down, but God has always been faithful. I had a job once that was using my technical abilities. Somebody accused me of their mistake. The boss chews me out. I tell them, I have nothing to do with this. They're vying for the next position. There was an opening for a vice president, and they're vying for that, and they didn't want it to come out that they screwed up, so they blame me. He still started chewing me out. I said, well, if that's the way it is, then you don't want me, and I walked out. Well, I was important to their business. I had a number of their main clients. I wasn't going to go steal the clients. I just walked out. This was on a Friday. On Saturday, a friend of mine called me up and says, I'm falling behind on a contract that I've got. Have you got any free time? That's how God works. If I'd have known that was there, I'd have screwed it up somehow. But I didn't. I did what was right. And God will step in and help. By Monday, I was working on the other job. By Wednesday, I got a call from the boss. You're right. Can you come back? No, I've already taken another job. But let's negotiate what we can do about your clients. And he hired me back as a contractor to help with his other clients. And eventually, I asked if I could buy one of them from him, and I gave him a percentage of my take for the next year. And I worked for that one client for 20 years. God will take care of you, but you've got to be loyal to him. If you're loyal to him, he will take care of you. We've got a place already picked out for us. We're going to eventually. Our mansion in the sky. So don't worry about that. But down here on earth, if you're loyal to God, he will take care of you. There are so many examples in the Bible of this. Faith. You've got to have faith. Got people driving through the complex. They always come in and look. They want to see what things look like, see where they want to go. I'm not the only one in these camps. There's a couple that moved in near one of my other sites I used to stay in. They have a monster tent, bigger than mine. It's a big round dome tent. I've only seen those in pictures, so I've got to find a way to get over there when they're there. I think they have day jobs or something because they leave early in the morning. But we have the weekend coming up, so maybe I can catch them. You never know who God's going to bring to you, the connections that you're going to have, where they're going to go. I'm prepared to keep this channel running as long as I can. My Telegram and my Rumble sites are there for a reason, as a backup and as an extra outreach, if I can reach new people there. So if you're on Rumble and Telegram, share those. Share the videos. Now, the videos going to Rumble are automatic now. It picks up the video from here and copies it over there every morning, but obviously after it's posted here. Telegram, I have to post. And I sometimes post from here. I sometimes post from Rumble if I'm late. If I want to get it up there early, I grab this one here and I share the link over there. Rumble would be a better choice, but it takes a couple hours to get up there, maybe noon by the time it's up there, and I don't want to start that late. So I need your help. I need you to make sure you go over there and sign up. The links are down below in the description. So go over there and sign up for those. Even if I don't need you to watch both videos. If you've watched it once, you don't need to go over there and watch it. But you can go to it and like it. In Rumble, you punch it, whatever the boxing glove symbol is, the Rumble. Do that, but you don't have to watch them in both places. And share them. Help me to grow those channels, because eventually this one's going to probably go down. And there won't be videos out there for those that are left behind. So the videos that are over there, I've told Rumble to go back a month or so, and so there's some additional videos there. And that's good, and I'd like to keep having them go over there. But keep those sites, keep helping out, and keep helping out here. Your comments here are valuable. If you've got so much to say that you fill up 2 pages, go start your own YouTube page. But I love individual verses and comments that people have, and I love the support. I need to know that I'm doing a good job and that Jesus knows that I'm doing a good job. I can tell because he directs you to comment. I can tell a little bit from him, but I can't hear him. Nobody can hear God. That's unfortunate. We will shortly, but we can't right now. You can tell by the things going on in your life whether you're with God. If you're a Christian and things are going smoothly and you're growing, things will keep going smoothly. When you stop growing, when you turn your face away from God, that's when you're going to start seeing trouble. Get out there and do stuff for him. Be faithful to him, and he will be faithful to us. All right. I think I've got enough on here. I'm staring into the sun, as you can see on my face. That's what happens when you get up late. It was 28 this morning. I didn't want to get out of bed. I have to get up and turn the heaters on because I won't run the heaters while I'm sleeping. And then crawl back in bed and wait there for about 30 minutes for it to warm up. And then I can get up. One of my big heater, somewhere I've got a remote control for it, but I don't know where it is. I've got to find it. Then I don't have to get up, but that would make me too lazy. A sheriff down in here. Normally we only have the game wardens down in here, so I wonder what they're looking for. All right. We don't have a lot of time, so use it to your best. Keep prepping, because we don't know how long. If they shut the dollar off now and you have no money, what will you do? Do you have enough food to eat on for a week or two? I don't think you have a whole lot of time to have to worry about it, but I would certainly make sure you have enough. All right. Till we meet in the clouds, God bless.